So little Greta Thunberg tried to pull a little bit of a PR stunt, where her and a bunch of smelly hippies went on a boat to the Gaza Strip to provide aid and stuff like that, and it totally just wasn't for a photo op. Now, I completely avoid talking about Russia, Ukraine, and Israel, Palestine purely because it's states doing state things, and my opinion is children, you're all terrible, right? So I don't have a side in the conflict. I will, however, talk about this because it's kind of funny the way it happened. So let's just go into the article. Greta Thunberg has been deported, Israel says, after Gaza aid boat intercepted. Israel says it has deported Swedish campaigner Greta Thunberg a day after the Gaza bound aid boat that she and 11 people were on was intercepted by Israeli forces in the Mediterranean. Thunberg departed Tel Aviv on Tuesday morning on a flight to France after she agreed to be deported, the Israeli Foreign Ministry said. Upon arriving at an airport in Paris, Thunberg accused Israel of illegally kidnapping her and other activists on the boat while they were in international waters. Interesting. It's not, that country that likes to care about national laws a lot. Anyway, international laws even. France said 5 or 6 of the French citizens detained alongside her had refused to sign their deportation orders and would now be subject to judicial proceedings. So that'll be great. Have fun with that. The Freedom Flotilla Coalition, the activist group operating the yacht, the Madeleine, has demanded the immediate release of everyone detained. And they totally can leave. They totally can leave. They just have to sign those little bit of papers so they can go. They're free to leave it. Okay, that was always allowed. You can leave whenever you want. The vessel was intercepted early on Monday while the activists tried to deliver a symbolic amount of aid to Gaza in defiance of Israel's maritime blockade and highlight the humanitarian crisis there. The Israeli Foreign Ministry dismissed it as a selfie yacht and announced in a post on it, I didn't like Liam Cunningham and all that, the guy for Game of Thrones. I'm a smuggler, you see. Fucking, apparently not a very good one. The boat never even made it, mate. But he took a selfie on the boat and everyone thought that he was there, but it turns out he wasn't. He just went on it for a selfie. And announced in a post on X on Monday night that the passengers had been transferred to Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion airport following the vessel's arrival at the port of Ashdod on Monday night. Those who refuse to sign deportation documents and leave Israel will be brought before a judicial authority in accordance with Israeli law to authorize their deportation, it said. So basically, quite interesting that, isn't it? Even Israel can't just kick people out. It's funny that, isn't it? Even they have to go through all the bloody proper channels and all that. Unfortunate. It sucks, doesn't it? On Tuesday morning, the ministry said Thunberg had just departed Israel on a flight to Sweden via France and posted a photo of her sitting on a plane. Damn. Wonder how much fuel that's burning. Wonder how much damage to the environment that plane's causing, Greta. Speaking to reporters at Charles de Gaulle Airport, Thunberg said Israel had committed an illegal act by kidnapping us on international waters and against our will, bringing us to Israel, keeping us in the bottom. She just called it Israel. Keeping us at the bottom of the boat, not letting us get out, and so on. She added, but that is not the real story here. The real story is that there is a genocide going on in Gaza and a systematic starvation following the siege and blockade now, which is leading to food, medicine, water that are desperately needed to get into Gaza is prevented from doing so. Now, apparently there was aid on the boat, but it wasn't a lot. It was not a lot, apparently. The Israeli Foreign Ministry has insisted the blockade was consistent with international law and that unauthorized attempts to breach it were dangerous, unlawful, and undermine ongoing humanitarian efforts. Asked why she was free while others were still detained, Thunberg said it was a bit unclear. It's because you signed the documents and they didn't. She said that she and some others had signed a document saying they wanted to go back as soon as they could, but did not accept that they had entered the country illegally, but others hadn't signed this document. So there you go, that's why. She added she had been unable to say goodbye to fellow activists before her deportation and was unsure what was happening to them. I'm very worried about them, she said. They didn't let me say goodbye. How dare you? And I'm like, there's worse things happening over there, darling. Anyway, France's Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot earlier wrote on X, our consul was able to see the 6 French nationals arrested by the Israeli authorities last night. One of them has agreed to leave voluntarily and should return today. The other 5 will be subject to forced deportation proceedings. Now, you would think that they would just grab them by the scruff of the neck and like shove them on a plane, but no, they're still following proper protocol. We're being held prisoner. Is the instant you sign this document, you can leave. It just means we're allowed to kick you out. Imagine having to say, look, we want to kick you out, and you want to leave, but both of us are locked here by this little piece of bureaucracy. We can't do it until you sign the document, and it's funny. It's funny how all of it is being held up by stupid bureaucracy. Barrow did not identify them, but the 6 French nationals include MEP Rima Hassan and 2 journalists, Omar Faid of Qatar-based Al Jazeera and Yanis Mamdi of online publication Blast, who Reporters Without Borders said were documenting the Madeleine's journey. As well as France and Sweden, citizens of Brazil, Germany, the Netherlands, Spain and Turkey were on board the vessel. The FFC confirmed in a statement on Monday night that all 12 had reached Ashdod and that it expected any who refused to be deported to be transferred to a detention facility in Ramleh near Tel Aviv, where you'll meet all your favourite people in there. I'm sure they'll love you. I'm sure they'll be very, very happy of the aid that you tried to provide. They're very, very appreciative, that lot, you see. We continue to demand the immediate release of all volunteers and the return of the stolen aid. Their kidnapping is unlawful and a violation of international law, it added. Israel's foreign ministry said the aid, which includes baby formula and medicine, would be transferred to Gaza through real humanitarian channels, the ones where they just let them in and you don't have to do a whole big PR stunt about it. The FFC said the Madeleine was intercepted by the Israeli military inside international waters about 185 kilometres west of Gaza early on Monday. According to the group, the vessel was surrounded by quadcopter drones sprayed with a white irritant substance and had its communications jammed. Video footage released by the group showed the passengers sitting down with their hands raised as Israeli forces boarded. Yeah, apparently they were saying there's drones coming towards us, and that was the last signal that anybody got from them. So basically, everyone in my Discord was going, "There's a non-zero chance that Greta Thunberg just got drone struck." Not that that's funny. That'd be absolutely terrible and tragic. Like, I'll admit, I don't like my political enemies, but I don't want them to die. But still, but it turns out that they just get grabbed and they handed her a little sandwich, and she was very pleased about it. Video footage released by the group, I've just read that. It also posted a pre-recorded clip showing Thunberg saying, "If you see this video, we have been intercepted and kidnapped in international waters by Israeli occupation forces or forces that support Israel. I urge all my friends, family and comrades to put pressure on the Swedish government to release me and the others as soon as possible." The foreign ministry later said all the passengers were safe and unharmed and posted a video showing troops handing them food and water. It's like, oh, we hate governments, we are so cool, but government, please come and help me against this other government. It's funny. Intercepted by Israeli forces. Oh, there you go. I don't know what this little thing was there. What's this? Did they panic and then decide to turn back? I don't know what's going on there. When the Madeleine set sail from Italy on the 1st of June, the FFC said it was carrying humanitarian aid and international human rights defenders in direct defiance of Israel's illegal and genocidal blockade. The Israeli Foreign Ministry called it a gimmick, while Israel has rejected accusations of genocide. On Sunday, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz said the maritime blockade was necessary to prevent the smuggling of weapons to Hamas. I mean, of course, they always deny genocide and stuff like that. I mean, they're denying the one they're doing to the West anyway. Sorry. Said the quiet part out loud. Israel and Egypt imposed a land, sea, and air blockade on Gaza when Hamas seized control of the territory in 2007 by ousting its rivals a year after winning legislative elections. Israel stopped all deliveries of humanitarian aid and commercial supplies to Gaza on the 2nd March this year, and resumed its military offensive 2 weeks later, collapsing a 2-month ceasefire with Hamas. It said the steps were meant to put pressure on the group to release the hostages still held in Gaza, but the UN warned that Gaza's 2.1 million population were facing catastrophic levels of hunger because of the resulting shortages of food. To be fair, there's no reason to stop the food. Like, I mean, fucking come on. 3 weeks ago, Israel launched an expanded offensive to take control of all areas of Gaza. It also partially eased the blockade, allowing in a basic amount of food. The starvation's not cool. Definitely don't do that. That's scummy as fuck. Israel is now prioritising distribution through the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which it backs along with the US. The UN and other aid groups are refusing to cooperate with the new system, saying it contravenes the humanitarian principles of neutrality, impartiality, and independence. It is 20 months since Israel launched a military campaign in Gaza in response to the unprecedented Hamas led cross border attack on Israel on 7th October 2023, in which about 1,200 people were killed and 251 others were taken hostage. At least 54,927 people have been killed in Gaza since then, according to the territory's Hamas run health ministry, and I'm sure that those figures are accurate. This is the problem when you're dealing with a conflict where both sides are massive pieces of shit. But anyway, this was the tweet that they put out. Now, I don't have a side in this conflict. I don't give a fuck about either place. They're both bad. But this tweet was funny. Good morning to all of our followers. In case you missed it, the selfie yacht is safely making its way to the shores of Israel. The passengers are safe and were provided with sandwiches and water and are expected to return home to their home countries. The tiny amount of aid that wasn't consumed by the celebrities will be transferred to Gaza through real humanitarian channels. More than 1,200 aid trucks have entered Gaza from Israel within the past 2 weeks, and close to 11 million meals were transferred by the GHF directly to civilians in Gaza. There are ways to deliver aid to the Gaza Strip. They do not involve provocations and selfies. So basically, to be fair, they are calling it for exactly what it is. It was a stunt. It was a PR stunt. That's all it was. Right, it was dumb. And basically, yeah, you can go into a war zone to give aid. Just do it through the proper channels so that you don't get popped in the fucking head. Yeah? Just do it through the proper channels. I'm not saying don't give starving children aid. Please give starving children aid. But just don't do it in a way where it's clear that you're just trying to do a PR stunt and make a bit more of a name for yourself. What did the news quieten down about you, Greta? And you decided to pull this little stunt. But still, it's pretty obvious what this whole stunt was.